So much to talk about today in relation to the secret portfolios, former colleagues saying he should quit the parliament. Scott Morrison, he's put out an apology, albeit a belated one. Where do we start?
Well, Scott Morrison has been outed this morning, Kieran, as having secretly sworn himself in while he was Prime Minister as Treasurer, Home Affairs Minister, Industry Minister, Science Minister, Energy Minister, Resources Minister, as well as Health and Finance Minister. And according to his colleagues, only the Health Minister, Greg Hunt, knew about it. Here are the details of the dates Scott Morrison became ministers in his government without our knowledge.
Between March 2020 and May 2021, the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, was appointed to 5 additional portfolios. He was appointed to administer the Department of Health on the 14th of March 2020, the Department of Finance on the 30th of March 2020, the Department of Home Affairs on the 6th of May 2021, the Department of the Treasury on 6th of May 2021, and the Department of Industry, Science, Energy and Resources on the 15th of April 2021.
I revealed yesterday that former Finance Minister Matthias Cormann was never told about the swearing in by Morrison in his portfolio. It's unclear whether Cormann's successor Simon Birmingham ever knew. I revealed yesterday that then Energy Minister Angus Taylor had no idea that Scott Morrison had sworn himself in his portfolio. I revealed this morning that the Secretary of the Department of Home Affairs, Michael Pezzullo, did not know about it in his portfolio. Pretty obvious former Home Affairs Minister Karen Andrews did not know. She just told Julia Bradley that Scott Morrison should resign from the Parliament.
I think the actions that he undertook in swearing himself into numerous portfolios and not disclosing those to the ministers responsible means that he needs to resign and he needs to leave Parliament. They're my views. That's what I think he should do. It certainly doesn't help democracy, and I'm very concerned about the impacts of this going forward. And to be honest, I feel that the Australian people were betrayed.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers, upon learning of Treasury being on the list this morning, asked his Secretary Stephen Kennedy if he knew about this, and Mr Kennedy said he did not. Now, the former Treasurer has told Paul Kelly at The Australian in the last hour he did not know about it either. The PM swore himself into Frydenberg's portfolio 5 days before the federal budget last year, shortly after which Josh Frydenberg roomed with Morrison at the Lodge.
We're living under the same roof. We're eating together. He's very good. He's actually on the dishes. Would you believe? Because it's just the two of us there. And after we've had dinner, we both get the scrubbing brush and have a go for it. You might not believe it, but it's true. And we pop the spaghetti bolognese, or last night it was the schnitzel, into the microwave, and then we sit down and have a good conversation. So,
sharing the dishwashing and sharing portfolios, apparently. I think the question has to arise as to how exactly Scott Morrison goes back into his party room after this. The former PM was defending himself this morning on Ben Fordham's program on 2GB over not informing former Finance Minister and Government Senate Leader Matthias Cormann. He said my office should have told his office.
Yeah, I thought that had been done through officers, to be honest, Ben, and that was an oversight. And Matthias, I've apologised to Matthias for that.
But with Greg Hunt, you had a conversation with Greg Hunt. Why didn't you have a conversation with Matthias Cormann?
Well, they were at different levels. The Biosecurity Act was quite specific. Matthias's arrangements were done off the back of that. I didn't have any real expectation we'd have to use those.
Again, it's a bit hard to accept. Scott Morrison was meeting Matthias Cormann almost every single day at this point, at this crisis point of the pandemic in March 2020. Morrison did not think to say, oh, by the way, did you hear I've sworn myself into your portfolio? Prime Minister Anthony Albanese today announced that he would get advice from the Solicitor General on Morrison's secret ministerial appointments and release that Monday. I think we can expect the announcement of an inquiry after that. Now, the question was asked of the Prime Minister as to whether there are any records of these appointments. Sky News can reveal there were, but they were obviously not gazetted or made public. records, advice to the PM from the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet, a letter from the PM to the Governor-General asking for the swearing in, and the Governor-General, David Hurley, signing off on each administrative instrument, all of which appears to have been kept under lock and key in the Prime Minister's department. There will eventually, as I said, I believe, be a full inquiry into this. Prime Minister Albanese did not hold back this morning when it came to Scott Morrison.
He told us he was a bulldozer, and his coalition colleagues just shrugged their shoulders and cheered him on, not in one election, but in 2 elections. Turns out he was the world's first stealth bulldozer. Scott Morrison and others who were involved in this deliberately undermined those checks and balances that are so important and essential for our democracy. Not just Mr Morrison, but others who were involved in this need to be held to account.
Anthony Albanese also confirmed there was no end date on these appointments once the swearing-in occurred, meaning, for example, Scott Morrison was Finance Minister while Matthias Cormann and Simon Birmingham were in that job.
Is there any detail about when these appointments ended? Was there an end date to any of these appointments? And can you tell Australians now whether there was any additional pay given to Scott Morrison for any of these appointments?
No is the answer to the first question in terms of no end date that I've been given anyway. So to my knowledge, to give that caveat, no end date.